Mrs. Kim, no groom drives his own car to go to his wedding hall. A woman in her 50s complained looking at her son. She and her husband were sitting together in the back seat. Taehyung, it's not a big deal. He said, driving the car like he doesn't care about his mom's words. Mrs. Kim, you should drive instead of him. She suggested her eldest son who was in the front passenger seat, which brought a sigh from him. Namjoon, Mum, he wants to drive, let him drive. Don't be over affectionate towards him. He tried to convince her. Mrs. Kim, I don't trust his driving skills. Drop me here, I will come to wedding hall in cab instead. Look and die with him, she said, receiving a eye roll from Namjoon. Till now, Namjoon thought that she's asking him to drive due to her love for Tae. He understood now, it's not love, it's fear. Taehyung, Mum, I am good at driving now. Why don't you, Mrs. Kim? That's why you crashed the car into a tree in our backyard few days back, right? You literally have zero driving skills. She started arguing. Namjoon, Mum, he's drunk that day. According to my experience, he drives well. End of the discussion. With that, he ended the argument. Suddenly, the car stopped, causing them to move forward a bit. Mrs. Kim, I told you. He crashed something again. Mr. Kim, the wedding hall has arrived. Get off the car. He said softly, causing Mrs. Kim to keep herself silent. Namjoon, finally, he uttered as everyone in the car except the groom came out of the car. Mrs. Kim, oh God, make sure this wedding happened well without any glitches. The moment she got out of the car, she wished this to God. Mr. Kim, it's going to be a good day, don't be afraid, he tried to assure her. Mrs. Kim, after cancelling 2 weddings, Namjoon, is it necessary to bring up his past cancelled weddings? This marriage will definitely happen, trust me, he assured her strongly. Mrs. Kim, where is he? She asked as Taehyung still sitting in the car. Namjoon saw him talking on the phone with someone. Namjoon, he is talking on mobile. Let's go inside, he'll come after us. With that, they walked into the wedding hall just to get greeted by Jimin and Jungkook. Jimin, here, what's up, bro? Where's Tae? He asked with a cheerful smile and received a smile too from Kim family. Namjoon, he's still in the car. Jungkook, we'll go to bring him. Before he could finish his words, Jungkook said that, grabbing Jimin's hand, and they went away from them to meet Tae. As they were going, a loud scream was heard to them. Catch her! Jimin turned back to find out what the scream was, and someone pushed him hard and ran away, causing him to fall on the ground at the force. Jungkook's eyes grew wider at the girl running away, and he looked back at Jimin. Jungkook, are you okay, Hyung? He inquired, helping Jimin to stand while he's smiling in embarrassment. Jimin, isn't she looking like Tae's bride? He asked Jungkook as he saw her entering into a car. Taehyung, are you too busy to come to my wedding, Hyung? You're just lazy to come. He exclaimed just to receive a scoop from another side. Yoongi, I don't feel like your marriage will happen today. Taehyung, don't kill my hopes, Hyung. He heard his car door opening from outside. Start the car quickly, please. He heard an unfamiliar feminine voice and turned back to know who's the owner of the voice. As his gaze touched her, the next moment the mobile slipped down from his hands without him realizing it. It's a girl, not just a girl, but she's his bride that he only saw over some photos that her dad sent him. Taehyung, hi, he simply greeted, but soon he sensed the fear that is building up in her every second. Beads of sweat rolling down her temple as she's shouting at him. 𝐰𝐸 car, mister. They are chasing me. He was startled by her scream. Taehyung, but why? Wait, are you running away from the wedding? 𝐰𝐸, there is no time to tell them all. Let the car go away from here. As she said anxiously, he had no choice but to drive the car forward. Mr. Verma, 𝐻𝐸. He shouted as he saw his only daughter running away in the car with Taehyung. Mrs. Verma, what happened to them? Why are they running away from wedding? She asked while gasping for air as she came outside the hall running. Mrs. Verma, why did you leave them like that? We should bring her back. Mr. Verma noticed their relatives getting ready to follow her. Mr. Verma, no need, it's just a time waste to follow her. She's with Taehyung, he'll take care of the situation, he said, going inside the venue with confidence that they'll definitely come back. Mrs. Verma, her games are running out of bounds. She muttered to herself angrily and walked to inside. Seeing all this, Mrs. Kim is burning with anger. Jungkook, don't worry, auntie. Mrs. Kim, if they do not return by this evening, I'll make him a church father since I have no hope on his marriage anymore. Swearing angrily, she went inside and sat with her husband. His friends who heard her words felt their body tingling in a bad way. Jungkook, I cannot see him as a church father. He expressed his displeasure about her decision. Namjoon, guys, please get them. I'll take care of the situation here. Agreeing to his words, Jimin and Jungkook started a car to follow him. What a life! He laughed to himself, hitting the steering often to reduce his anger. He had many dreams thinking that this marriage will definitely happen. Now all his dreams have evaporated. 𝐰𝐴 checked if there were any people following them and she found a car. 𝐰𝐴, can you please drive little faster? I am afraid that they'll caught us. He sighed with her words and looked through rear view mirror just to find his friends following them. Taehyung, how bad lucky I am, he threw a comment on himself sarcastically. Taehyung, can I ask you something? He asked as she calmed down a bit in the journey. 𝐰𝐴, yeah. She mumbled. Taehyung, why are you running away from wedding? You don't like the groom. She sighed with his question. 𝐰𝐴, my father fixed my marriage with his colleague's son but I didn't even saw his face. It was as if his life was suddenly raised by what she said. He smirked to himself with the thought, she wouldn't have run away from the marriage if she had seen how handsome I am. 𝐰𝐴 saw the car still chasing them. 𝐰𝐴, who are they? My relatives are not chasing me, but these guys are. She let out her frustration and looked at Taehyung. 𝐰𝐴, actually. Who are you? He widened his eyes with her question. 𝐰𝐴, when I came out of the wedding hall, I saw your car even though I didn't know it, I got on it to escape. You seem to be going on some important work, sorry for the trouble, he just smiled shaking his head. Taehyung, that's okay, not a big deal. As a human, it is my responsibility to help another human in need. No doubt, she melted at those words. 𝐰𝐴, thank you so much, sir, for helping me without getting angry. I just found out that there are so many good people in Korea. Taehyung is touching the sky with pride, trying to suppress his smile on his lips. He decided to talk more as he got a good chance. Taehyung, why did you take such a decision without even seeing the face of your groom, miss? Who knows? Maybe he's handsome. She sighed at his words. 𝐰𝐴, I heard that he's a big trouble and also two girls call off the wedding with him. Apart from being handsome, he seems to be a rude and a perverted person. Rude. Perverted. He gritted his teeth, controlling his anger. I swear whoever said this to her, if they have son, he will remain unmarried forever. He cursed mentally. Taehyung, we shouldn't trust every rumor we heard though. 𝐰𝐴, his mother said them to me, so I got no choice but to trust her. Words. With that word, his world turned upside down. Sure, he knew his mother had a loose tongue. Can anyone tell all this to the bride? It literally scared her off. But still, how does calling off two marriages become a mistake? Let me come home, mom, and I'll show you. He thought to himself. Wait, the curse. His lips bent downwards in sadness. He cursed himself without knowing the whole thing. Hope my curse doesn't works. What he understood now was the words of his own mother caused her to escape from the wedding. He could see the chances of her agreeing to marry him if he could make a good impression on her. That intention gave him the last hope. While he was thinking that, his car suddenly stopped abruptly, causing him to frown his eyebrows in confusion. 𝐻, what happened? She asked. He tried to start the car but the car did not start. He looked at the indicator inside, it showed empty. Taehyung, out of fuel. 𝐻, why are you talking so calmly? They are chasing us. We need to escape from here, she said, making him roll his eyes with a scoff. Taehyung, let's get out of this car first, he said, and picked up the phone which he dropped earlier and put it in his pocket. With that, the two got out of the car only to find his friends standing near their car with confusion written all over their faces. Jimin, why are you even running, Ava? Taehyung, you can't take her. I don't agree with that. You must pass me first to reach her. He shouted at them, hiding her behind him like a hero does in the movies when the villain tries to harm the heroine. They did not understand his sudden odd behavior. Jungkook, huh? Why are you talking strangely? He took 2 steps forward to Taehyung just to hear him shouting at him again while trying to signal them with his face expressions. Taehyung, don't try to get close. I can beat you up if you come any more closer. His unusual acting caused a brief moment of confusion. They couldn't understand his motive. He again signaled them through his eyes. 𝐻, oh my god. Why don't they go away from here? And, who are you, mister? You have tattoos, are you a criminal or what? She shouted at Jungkook while slightly hiding behind Taehyung. Stunned, Jungkook was speechless for a long moment. Criminal? Who? Taehyung, it has become a habit for such criminals to roam in this society peacefully, he said, and took a few steps back as if he was afraid of them. Jungkook gave him a side eye, more like judging and glaring at him for acting like a stranger and for offending him in front of a girl. Taehyung noticed it and tried to say sorry with his eyes, which caused him to understand that he's acting. Taehyung, if you try to catch us, I will kill you. He let out some dialogues like a hero warning the villain and ran away into the alley holding her hand tightly. Jimin, where are you even? Jungkook, let them go, 𝐻. He is trying to be a hero in front of her by offending us. They sighed deeply. Jimin, he's playing a lot today, let's play along with him. He doesn't do anything without reason though. Jungkook pouted at his words. Jimin noticed it and said, once his acting is over, let's beat him up. His advice excited Jungkook. At last they accepted his acting and agreed to go along with him. Jimin, let's go and act like criminals.